If I could describe the Get My Life tour in one word, it would be vulnerability. Showing up for yourself is so important. Welcome to the Get My Life tour. I'm your host, Lydia T. Blanco. Hey y'all, and welcome to the Get My Life tour. It is me, your host, Lydia T. Blanco, and as always, I am so hyped that you decided to show up for yourself and take center stage in your life. Look, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Get My Life tour. I am so glad that you are here. If this is your umpteenth time tuning in, welcome back. You know I love having you here. Oh, y'all, I am so ecstatic. I'm over here looking for other adjectives to use because I know I use enthusiastic and excited, all these things, right? But I'm ecstatic today because I'm not joined by one, but two incredible young women. They just so happen to be business partners. They just so happen to be lit. And guess what? They're sisters. There hasn't been a sister duo on the Get My Life tour since me and my sister actually took center stage. So I am thrilled and my heart is warmed to have these incredible women, Kim and Keyondra Lockett. Okay, you know their names. I know you do. Because one is a celebrity stylist. The other one is a Billboard-charting, let me say it correctly, a top Billboard-charting recording artist. Like, these women are incredible. But before I go on and on, help me welcome Kim and Keyondra to the Get My Life tour.
Hey,
hi.
Oh my goodness. They speak on like, hey, like I heard about this twin-esque synergy. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Oh my goodness. It is so good to have you here. You have on your beautiful shirts. Your hair is laid. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay, look, y'all are here. I'm ready to have a good time. I know you are as well. But, let's start with you, Kim. Who is Kim Lockett in your own words?
Oh, well, I'm really just a simple person. I don't really look at all the things that I do to sum up, what I am, because those are just the things that I do. But I'm a woman of faith. I am just a fun-loving, outgoing person that just so happens to be a celebrity wardrobe stylist and a business owner. So
I love it. How about you, Keyondra?
I'm simple as well. At times I can be a bit complex, but that's me. I am a woman of faith as well. And just out here, being a Black girl, trying to make it, singer, songwriter, doing all these types of things just to, put a smile on somebody's face.
That's incredible. And together, you both are the owners, the creators, the CEOs of Jolie Noire. You all are really doing it for the culture, right?
Wow.
And you're welcome. I'm only stating the facts here. And you have so many moving parts. One would ask, like, how do you all do it all? Singing, songwriting, styling celebrities, living your everyday lives, creating, designing, right? And actually, what is the word? You're not manufacturing, but you're designing and bringing these designs to life. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How do y'all do all of that?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's the teamwork effort that, really pushes everything into motion and keeps it going. I think as it relates to me being a singer-songwriter and just being an artist, we feel like we have to have like that. I have to have rather that whole that all the elements that go with being an artist. That's the style, that's the, music. For a gospel artist, that's the ministry, and I can't do it alone. So my sister, she is my creative director. I do a lot of the creative directing as well, but we work together in that. And I mean, it's just that whole thing of teamwork makes the dream work. You can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Jolie Noire. Same thing with her and styling as well.
Yeah.
My goodness. Time management must be everything to you.
Yeah.
Guys, right?
Yeah. You have to have a schedule. Although I don't stick to the schedule all the time. It's just, kind of moving the different parts around and trying to, you have to be kind of flexible in your mindset sometimes too, because things don't always flow as we want them to. So in that, we do have a schedule. And like I said, sometimes I go loosely by that schedule. I have things right now that I really kind of need to that I need to do. And I was trying to do them this morning. I was like, I don't really want to do this right now. So this off until tonight. So sometimes I trade off a little bit of sleep for because if you don't do it earlier in the day, then you have to do it at some point. So, sometimes it gets like that. But yeah, just kind of really sticking to, you have to have a really good, a good mindset as far as like writing things down and then, making sure that you have all that, because we don't have assistants either. So
pause. What are you saying right now? Speak English. You don't have assistants.
No. No.
So what do you have?
Our team is a consultant, financial consultant, which she's a business partner, which she's our mom.
Yeah.
And then you have the two of us.
Yep.
Wow. So it is.
Yeah.
Wow. So you all are really running a family business.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Family businesses. Like, oh my goodness. That is incredible. Did you all dream of this as little girls? Like, did you play with dolls and style them? Were you in the bathroom singing loudly or, in the choir? Yeah. How did this work? What did this look like?
We always talk about like how, because it's interesting to me because I also have a background in counseling, which is, psychology. And so it's always interesting to see the progression of a person, and we can trace our progression. And it's like, you really rarely change your personality. I was the girl who always, we both played with Barbie dolls, but like I would get really creative. I would get anything that I could find. I would cut up tube socks. I would get literally fold the tissue, put a rubber band around it, and that was her dress. Like, just getting really creative with stuff. So that was true to me. Keyondra, I took piano in school, and so Keyondra used to kind of play along, like kind of play around with it.
Now.
I would go around school singing songs.
Yeah. So, and I've always, like, I was bit with the entrepreneurial bug, if you will, really early. I was the one who wanted the lemonade stand. And then I even asked our parents if we could have more responsibility so that we could get an allowance. So like, it's all really consistent with what we're doing now.
That is incredible. And Keyondra, where didn't you sing at?
Child, I was singing everywhere. I would sing in our apartment complex. That's one of the places where this guy, he was a singer, had a song at radio in my hometown. He heard me singing in the apartment complex and was like, I want to, do some music with you. And I was like, I have a friend who sings really well. I can call her over and we could sing for you. And she ended up singing for him. We sung Cisco and Maya's It's All About Me.
You know what? Okay. True millennial fashion. Yes. Who else can say they sang that song?
and so she ended up telling him that we had another friend, and it kind of trickled down to building what many people know to be the group that I'm from, which is called Zael. And we were nominated for 2 Stellar Awards. So, I mean, it's amazing how things, like you said, like you could tell like what you're going to be, what your path is going to be like. But at the same time, it's amazing because you could tell like it's God's hand orchestrating every detail, putting everything together. And it's just been an amazing ride. There have been low moments, trust, but they just, the ride doesn't come without them, so.
That's real. Oh, come on now. Don't be dropping the mic this early into the episode, Keyondra. I will bill you, okay? If you mess this mic up, okay? It's the ride comes with lows. I'm thinking about roller coasters.
Yes.
And what that feels like. The initial excitement, right? And then the fear that follows. And then like this, we're on here now. Like we can't get off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm also thinking about God's hands on Maya and Cisco. No, but in all seriousness, right? But how you two have been very sound, or what I'm interpreting and I'm perceiving that you ladies have been very sound in following the dreams of your childhood, right? But we know that's not easy. And then you talk about the lows. Let's talk about not being discouraged from the dreams of your childhood. I can only imagine how much support you ladies have had given your success now, but there are always those who don't believe, right? That's just life. What has navigating that look like for you both?
I know like in the beginning, let's see, like 2008, 2009, we had our first business, which was called the Red Glasses Sisters. It was an online eyewear boutique. We couldn't get nobody to support us. and so sad to say, not even family. It's, it be that way sometimes, But one thing that we've understood, though, is that it's not the family and the friends that take you to that next level. And you don't want them to, because that means that you're stuck in that circle of people. In order to go abroad, you have to put yourself out there in front of people who you don't know. So you, as the business owner or the artist or whoever, you got to make sure that you know how to market yourself well in front of those types of people. So we've learned that. It's been, there have been times where we would, be sad and really bothered because we didn't get the help or the support, from friends and family. But I'm honestly glad that it didn't happen that way. We wouldn't be right here if it didn't,
Yeah, and I like to look at it like anything that I put my hand to, if I haven't exhausted all options, then it's not over. And, so you just got to keep trying. Like, if you have a dream, you want to stick to it. And, especially because at that time when we had the Red Glasses Sisters, things were different for social media. And so, we didn't have the following that we even had 2 years ago when we launched, rather, it was Jolie Noire. And so it's just it was just different, so we had a little gust of wind, like a second wind, if you will. And it was just always a passion of ours. So we didn't know that it would be even what it is today. We've been scared the whole way.
That's real.
Holding our breath. Hey, Lord, we know that you're going to come through. We know that you are a support. We know that we, have you to lean on. At the same time, we knew that there was work that we had to do. Our business consultant that we have, she's also part of our team. She talks about often, or used to talk about, because now, we have grown as entrepreneurs even, about, taking our mindset from having just being creative to being a hobby. And then being a hobby to actually being a business owner. And she really had to challenge us on some of those things, and sticking to our schedule, which, like I said, I don't know if I'm like a schedule person. I'm just like
that work get done.
Okay.
That's kind of where I rest. Maybe that might be today. It might change or refine a little bit more. I don't know. Whatever works for you is, what I think you should do. And then kind of use the schedule as a guide, in my opinion. But yeah, so it's just, getting in there, focus, staying focused on what it is that you want to do. Don't be married to anything that it is that you do, and be willing to try something else always. So,
oh, y'all are packing punches. Okay. Like what? Oh. As long as you haven't exhausted all of your resources. Wow. I needed to hear that. And I know someone else needed to hear that. Sometimes we think it's over, right? And even you saying 2 years ago in 2008, my goodness, I think we were all just joining Twitter at that point. I remember receiving my Twitter invite from Tyree Ellison, who I went to middle and high school with. And I began to follow him and Diddy. And I was like, oh, yeah, we out here. Like, okay. And now having the instant gratification of social media, marketing, all these different layers, it is scary at times to reimagine for yourself, right? Or your business and put things out there and get that second win, right? Sometimes we're so winded, we're like, oh, that's it. But you saying that, like, if you haven't exhausted all of your resources, that's good. And then Keyondra, being grateful that you haven't had to rely on certain individuals. And I know that's not a negative thing at all. It's refreshing to hear you say it that way, right? Because the social media gurus, the business entrepreneur gurus with billions of followers on the interwebs will tell you, well, you can't start with your family and friends all the time, right? And we're like, oh, why not? But you sang it that way, right? Yeah. Sometimes we have to understand how people can show up for us and how they can't.
Yeah.
And we become too reliant sometimes on certain support and we stagnate ourselves. Yeah. So very powerful points. You ladies are originally from Shreveport. Is that correct?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, look, I can't even get it. I'm so excited. Shreveport, Lydia. Shreveport, Louisiana. And now you're in Atlanta. You all have been on a tour of your own for quite some time. Y'all are real Southern. Y'all are grits. Girls raised in the South. For real, for real.
Yes, we are.
I'm a part-time grit because I went to college in North Carolina and it holds a soft space. I'm like, I became a woman in North Carolina, but y'all are grits. Let's talk about your Southern roots and those values. You came from the boot, the boot, and now you are in Atlanta. Can we talk about those values and who you ladies are at your core, your faith, women from the South who are, really navigating adulting? Like, what's that like? Y'all are in these industries and somebody probably will think, oh, celebrity styling. And, she's a gospel artist, a motivational artist. That just seems so pure and they don't face drama, this, that, and the third. Let us know.
Oh, honey. You get so much backlash in the industries that we're in, especially when you're trying to merge fashion and gospel together. And you're, wanting to, I don't like to say relevant because I feel like you create the style that makes you comfortable, that is marketable, that, makes you look good and that, kind of fits your overall either sound or whatever it is that you're doing and your body. Okay, so like those are the components, and everybody else, I don't think that no one person is going to like everything that you do. And we can all find something as distracting as the next person can find it. You do, we all have our levels of modesty, things like that we kind of, it's like, well, that's a little too much, things like that. I'm not afraid of a form-fitted anything. So it's like, look, but it's not going to be down here and up here and, all this stuff at the same time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that does lend to our Southern roots. Of course, we were raised in a Christian home. Thankfully, we're so grateful for that. And so we didn't always live in Shreveport. Our dad was in the military. He was in the Army. We moved to Germany when I was 3. We came back over to the States. We lived in Tennessee for a while. So we were Southern still.
Oh my gosh.
Southern folk. I don't know. I think it's just really the teaching that we've had, because not all Southern people are like this, but I think in life you're just going to face your fair share of issues, drama, whatever it is. I hate to say, use the word toxic. But you're going to run into people who are not the best for you. And so, and then you may do things to people that are not the best for them, So I think it's just, best that we just, monitor those things and lean on the raising that you had. I don't know if I wouldn't credit it to the Southern thing, because so many people say that we are nice, nasty down here.
Yeah, there's a few of y'all there.
We can be a little different sometimes. So, it's a positive and a negative thing sometimes.
Right.
I think it's the same thing with being an artist, just a gospel artist, period. With her and the fashion and gospel, trying to make sure that it all meshes well together and it's accepted. Because this is still, a lot of the places that I sing, still church, even I can sing on a House of Blues stage. And if it's a gospel event, that's still considered church to many of the people who go or who attend the shows. And so you still have to be really careful. And that's not always easy, because the type of artist that I desire to be is not traditional. It is inspirational, still, yet, or urban rather, an urban contemporary gospel artist. And that's still what urban inspirational gospel artists are still trying to find their way in the gospel industry, because the traditional representatives or the traditional industry structure like that for gospel, it hasn't died down yet. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to die down anytime soon, but we are still like growing and becoming and doing great things as urban inspirational artists. But it's going to take some time, and so you have the naysayers, you have the gatekeepers, you have I just got my first #1 song at Billboard. I'm an inspirational artist, but that was so hard. Thank you. That was so hard. Because it's so political, but it is very doable. So again, it's that whole thing where God is the one who orchestrates everything, and still you can't go through any situation and everything be smooth and easy. You learn nothing. You won't be grateful for anything. And I'm so grateful, even with the hardships, even with people, telling me, no, your song ain't Jesus enough. Your style ain't gospel enough. I still got to that point where I hit a level where only a Kirk Franklin or a Yolanda Adams or a Marvin Sapp, somebody like that back in the day, they could only be the ones to do it. But I got a chance to do that. As an independent artist. Yeah.
Hello. Come on. Talk your stuff. And you know what? You ladies doing what you're doing is proof that God's hands are on you, right? And that there is room for you, and that what you're doing is necessary. There's always this intergenerational beef, right? I don't think a lot of people will call it that, because you're like, no, right? But with all due respect to the elders and tradition, and not my goal is not to be irreverent, because I too am a woman who believes. We just got to shake stuff up. Like some people out with the old, in with the new. And, I say this with all due respect to the industry and all these other things, right? But we got to be mindful of our wineskins, right? Yeah. And so you all are pouring this newness into your industries who have these old wineskins on reserve. And I'm like, how that work? Did we not read about that? I know you know the scripture. Act like live it out, okay? And so I'm excited about how you ladies show up. I'm here for the nudes, right? I'm here, not that these ladies have nude photos. That's not what I'm saying, y'all. Let me correct that. The Jolie Noire new collection. Okay. It's a collection of nice browns and blush pinks and things of that nature. Okay. Check it out. Do not misquote me. I had to cover that up, backtrack. You're like, wait, what? But I'm here for the shorts and the sets and the form fitting, right? The way that you ladies, communicate body positivity and being feminine, right? There's a difference between being sexy and feminine, and we can be both as women who believe, right? Women in the church who are married, they have husbands. It's not like just because they partners who both believe in God, like, come on, y'all, come on, right? But there's things that you ladies communicate without even having to say it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I think a lot of people appreciate it because you don't have to be one way, right? And I want to have that conversation, but before we do, I want to ask, you are sisters, you're business partners, you are individuals, right? You have this twin-esque vibe, which I love, but you've chosen to do life together in business together. How does that position you differently? And tell me why. Tell us all why you've chosen to do life together instead of being in competition with one another.
Yeah. I think the sisterhood is the thing that positions us differently. Yeah. You have sisters, then you have sister best friends. Mm-hmm. And this is my sister best friend. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's the thing that works for us, as well as like we've even taken on our tribe of supporters and customers as sisters. Yeah. We call our supporters the Noire Babe family. Like, we're a whole family. Yes. And of course, like
I'm dancing again.
Right. You was a Noire Babe before you purchased or bought into what we do, because you're Black. Yeah. But at the time, like, a Noire Babe is more than just being Black. We're about our community. We're about sisterhood. We're about making sure that the mission, which our mission is to make sure that Black women know who they are. You know what I'm saying? Inside and out. And that you are beautiful. Your facial features are beautiful. Your skin tone is beautiful, which is why we create and, do the graphics that we do, darker skin, light skin. We want to do away with the whole colorism and light skin, dark skin beef. Like, we don't subscribe to any of that, And so I think that that's the thing that sets us apart is the sisterhood. And that's what Black women need throughout, in our friendships. And just when we see somebody in the store who we don't know, like, you are my sister, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that that's the thing that sets us apart. How we handle as sisters on a daily basis. Is that what you were asking? Is that what you're getting at? Because everybody be wanting to know, do we argue and, all that?
Tell us whatever you want. Tell us whatever. I'm kidding. No, that's natural. Me and my sister, we disagree all the time. I'm like, okay, well, check this out, Ashley. Well, Lydia, I don't think. And I'm like, okay, well, but we love on each other. And we were raised to not be one another's competition, right. To never allow others to come in between us, right? Yeah. Or see us in quarrel. Right. But yeah, so you spoke so eloquently about the sisterhood, right? And so now let's talk about why you have chosen to show up the way you do as sisters, as you do business, as you design, Jolie Noire, and as you support one another. Because you could just be like, no, I'm just styling, mind your business. No, I'm just going to sing. But y'all like, no, there's this interdependence and this interconnectedness.
Yeah, so it's funny because I think it's something that just comes naturally to us. It's just the two of us in our family. So we were just a 4-member family. And then we traveled around a lot with our dad in the military. So it's always been the two of us. We don't really have childhood friends because we were the childhood friends. And our dad, they also taught us, hey, look, you guys stick together, it was the importance of that because of the types of homes that they had, growing up. And so they wanted something a bit different. They're, close with their siblings, but, they understood the importance of that early on. And so they wanted to instill that in us, of course. And then, so as far as business, because just because you get along as siblings and you're great, doesn't mean that you work together. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing about our goals is that they kind of go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And so it's just, it was easy to just say, okay, look, I love fashion. She loves fashion too. But, you know, I'm just like on steroids a little bit sometimes. And so it just made sense for us to come together with both of our brands and both of our, you know, knowledge and, you know, working. So it just makes it so everything that you guys see is a little bit of both of us kind of dashed in here and there and showing, you know, that's how you get Jolie Noire or whatever it is that you see, because it's just the both of us. It's just, it was just easy, you know, it didn't make any sense any other way.
Right.
Yeah.
And where did the name come from?
Yeah, so we were looking for something that meant something. Keyondra was always about women's empowerment for her own personal ministry. And then when I was in school getting my master's in counseling, I saw that there were statistics that showed that Black women, we kind of were an afterthought, is like what I gathered from that whole, you know, from the whole thing. And so I was like, well, you know, I think, Keyondra, we should do something for Black women, you know. And then it was one of those times that we were kind of at a peak, you know, how like the whole fight against racism and, you know, oppression of Black people kind of goes through like this little,
right.
We were at one of the peaks. And so I was like, it just makes sense to do that, to just show the appreciation. We were like, we're not waging war on any other groups. We're not excluding purposefully, you know, any other groups, but we're shedding light. Those groups can definitely support and celebrate the Blackness. But, you know, there have been so many discussions, and even since we launched that, you know, that we, you know, found more, you know, seen more findings where Black women are very underappreciated for our facial features, to the things that we do. We lend so much to the country and even to this world, because of course Black women all over the world are underappreciated. Right. So we lend so much to that. So we wanted something that meant something to us. That was one. And then we're from Louisiana, so we pulled from our French culture. We tried different languages, and nothing really sat and fit on paper. Because, you know, when you're thinking about a business, it can't just be, oh, this is a great idea. You know, it has to look good on paper, has to look good, you know, in print, you know, things like that, because this is going to be our logo. And we wanted something that was going to start a conversation. So we didn't want to just say Pretty Black. We did think about that, but we thought about Pretty Noire, you know, things like that. But we're like, no, let's do Jolie Noire. And let's, you know, and then that starts a conversation, and it has started conversations. And, you know, so we've been able to kind of educate people on some things. And so, yeah, it's really a really cool conversation starter. So that's where our name came from.
I love it. And so does Jolie mean something?
Mm-hmm. Pretty.
Okay. Hello. I was like, I'm guessing, but I just want to make sure I ask the clarifying question. So I love it. And, you know, there's pretty. Privilege was a very real thing, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think as Black women, we appreciate the word pretty enough. I think we aim for beautiful, beauty, all these other things, but there's nothing wrong with being pretty.
You know, it's funny. I've always said that I want my husband to call me pretty. And
yes, me too. Where he at though?
Right? And you know why? Because I feel like, and this is just a general consensus, beautiful it speaks not only to your outward beauty, but to your inward beauty. And Black women deserve the vanity too.
That's right.
You see, yeah. Like, and there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of the vanity, just a little bit of that ego boost. You know, don't go all over and overboard. But we do deserve that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we deserve to be called pretty because we are. We're not just beautiful. We're not just strong. We're not just intelligent. You know,
not just pretty for Black girls.
Yeah, not just pretty for a Black girl or dark-skinned girl or whatever. Part. We are pretty. We have a shirt that says pretty,
period. Okay, hello. Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter, you know, like what other descriptors that you give us, throw pretty on us too, because we are pretty. Our features are pretty, okay? Yes. We have cheekbones, we have full lips, you know, we got all the stuff, okay? That it's what you want.
Okay, and everybody trying to buy it.
Right.
All the stuff. Okay. So yeah, no, we are pretty. So
I love that. I really love and appreciate that. We have to have more conversation, more dialogue about being pretty. And I really appreciate that as darker hued women, that is the narrative that you are promoting, and the reality that you are promoting as well, right? Reclaiming that. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta, and traditionally, people are like, oh, okay, more of the chocolate and deeper tone, right? And then we know the narrative behind AKA as well, right? But they get to be pretty and this and that, and that's what they've, and they're, of course, this is not a great life dig. Yeah, exactly. Right. But I think even in our own community, we only associate pretty with one group. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
A certain feature in those of us who have more African features, right? Or whatever the case may be, we don't get pretty first. So I appreciate that. And I really am grateful that has come up in this conversation because there are so many of us who needs to be called pretty. I'm about to make it a goal to call, I don't know how many. I haven't come up with a number just yet because the idea is fresh. But I just want to reach out to people and let them know, like, you are so pretty.
Oh, that's sweet.
I do. Yeah. Like, seriously, like, y'all are so pretty. Let me get my two out the way. Keyondra, you are so pretty. Welcome. But it's so important. It's another way of saying, I see you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In a whole different, right? Like and like I said, it feels kind of vain, pretty does, because it's like, oh, well, it's just on my looks. Because beautiful, like I said, it speaks to your inside. Anybody can be beautiful, but, and anybody can be pretty too. We're not going to subscribe to this whole, that beauty is not subjective and pretty is not, it is. And, so if you're looking at the person and you feel like they're pretty, they're pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just that,
Yeah. I love this. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Y'all are forces to be reckoned with.
Thank you. You are too.
Yes.
Thank you. Y'all are doing such great things. And I'm really excited about all of it, right? How you get to show up in different spaces, the messages that you all are communicating, the designs that are intentionally created and being sold. You all include men in that line. I love the unisex. I love seeing a chocolate man and blush pink. I don't know what it is. I'm like, hey, come on now. Hello, somebody, right? Can we add mint to the collection? Because they look good in that too. I'm like, whoa. Okay, Lydia, get yourself. Okay, I'm getting my life. Lord knows. But hey, we can appreciate our beauty, right? And we can appreciate, just everybody. So before someone thinks I'm lusting after somebody, let's just keep it moving in the conversation, right? I have to ask, as you've done business, as you've climbed up the Billboard charts and styled the who's who within the industry, as you navigate sisterhood and relationships in your own lives and live under the same roof and navigate all these things, there has had to been a get my life moment or two. Yeah, look, I see them heads like, yeah. I don't know if you share a get my life moment or if you want to share individually what one of those moments have been for you each. But I would love for you to share in how you've, made it work, how you made it through, better yet.
Okay. Well, I know for me, a get my life moment, it was definitely when I had like this whole depression going on, like the first 2 or 3 years of my my solo career, because I'm just now like 5 or 6 years ago becoming a solo artist. The group disbanded back in 2015, and I felt kind of hopeless because of my vocal issues and the whole fact that the gospel industry, like I said, like they still are not really with the whole like Lecrae's of the industry, Corinne Hawthorne's of the industry, Keyondra Lockett's of the industry. Like they're not with us because the message is there, but the vibe and the feel of it feels worldly to them or mainstream to them. When the Bible tells us that we are to go out into the highways and preach to those who are lost, not into the church, like, we know what's going on. We know what you do. But so it was just really hard for me to be the artist that I am. And I mean, just fighting within myself, like, should I, do a more traditional sound? Should I change my style? God, did you tell me to do this on my own? Like, and just being really depressed about it because I felt like, my voice is not like anybody else's. So what am I going to do? Like, and I'm having troubles and issues with it. What am I going to do? And it wasn't until I started working on my album, The Heal, that I realized what the Lord was doing. I ended up creating a song, or rather writing a song called Try. And it hit top 15. I did a music video for it, and it's airing on BET. And right. And I was able to, during the time of writing that whole album, like it was just very therapeutic for me. And just hearing how the sounds, were created and how everything turned out. And the writing that I was doing, it was like, wow, like I can't, because there's a certain way that you write for a traditional song and a traditional artist. And there's a certain way that you write for an urban inspirational artist. And so I wouldn't have been able to be the artist that I am now and be as creative and open and vulnerable even as a traditional artist. So I wouldn't be able to reach the people that I've reached either with those messages, So a lot of the music that I write or that I've written is like life music, and millennials, they need life music. They need something that is going to tickle their ears, musically, but that's going to point them to the Lord. And that's definitely what I've been doing. And so I wouldn't hit, number one or top nothing else, had I not gone the path and the direction that I went. But it took the depression. It took the night moments, the crying. Girl, I remember one time I was up one night reading the whole book, reading Psalms because it was so inspirational. It was something that I really needed, like the encouragement, because I was so low, and that really just goes to show that the Lord allows us to go through those low moments so that we can pick up the Bible, so that we can pray, so that we can get back, get back on focus, Yeah. I'm sorry that took so long.
No, you do not apologize. My goodness. When I think about the title, The Heal, and the moments that you shared, depression is so real for so many of us. And so I'm thinking about the hills that we climb, right? And the healing that we experience.
Right.
And just your how through moment. Thank you, number one, for being willing and vulnerable, sharing that moment.
Yeah.
And I'm also brought back, because, you talk about worldly, Lord knows me. There's a Cardi B line, and it's on the new DJ Khaled album, Khaled. And she said, I got 5 number ones, you got 5 number nuns, right? For all the people who won't tune into the word of Brother Khaled. And so I'll say it here, there are so many people who will tell you what they know nothing about. And God is working in the background.
Right. Yeah.
Like, number one. And earlier in the conversation, you talked about how those spaces were only on reserve for, the people we love and know and appreciate for their artistry, for their ministry, right? But there's always room, I'm thinking about, the word God doesn't just call the qualified, right? I'm paraphrasing here. And I could only imagine how disqualified you felt, right? Issues with your voice, your gift, right? All these things. But the packaging doesn't matter. Right? Your gifts have made room for you. It's all the churchy folk who are tuned in. Right? We really have to get over this idea of the physical space of the church, and the parking lots are only, or the spaces that are only reserved for certain guests and members, and really allow God to just move. I'm so glad to know that God is just moving through you, and that you made it through, and you're willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people who are above that, or they can only hear from the pulpit. And I'm like, don't you know we need you to be the church? Right. And not just at church. Okay, Keyondra, that's what you're doing right now. Okay. All right. We getting our lives. That is so rich. Kim, come on, just hurry up. Just let's. I know you about to do a sin.
Oh my God. I don't think so. No, but so growing up, I had two careers that I wanted to do. I wanted to be some sort of a doctor, and I wanted to do something in fashion. And so I chose, after high school, I chose to go down the path for psychology and for my to get my master's. And I always say, because I don't use the degree, and the reason why I don't use the degree is because I was at a crossroads when I graduated. I was like, okay, which one do I really want to do? It was like a really big tug of war for me. And I really had to get my life, basically, because I was like, okay, one is going to be like this huge safety net. It's going to be, security. It's going to be, like all of these things. And then the other, I really enjoy it. I actually enjoy it more because I don't really like the one-on-one in the way that I thought I would. I went through internship. I mean, everything. I got my MFT, which is marriage and family counseling. I got all of that. Okay. Went through all of that schooling because I was comfortable and safe and, things like that. And so it was a huge risk to just really jump out and do full time what it is that I'm doing now. And I got to say that it is one of the most rewarding things that I've done because it doesn't box me in. One of the biggest things and biggest fears in my life is to be boxed in, period. And so I felt like, I was like, okay, Lord, I have to make this decision. I mean, I stayed up all night doing papers and all of these things like that. It's like, how could you turn from that? Like, you better go to somebody's office and sit down and talk to these people, okay? But, I had to figure out how to make it work. I always tell people that going to school was a huge life lesson, very expensive, but a needed life lesson. That it was one that I couldn't say that I wouldn't do again. Well, I wouldn't do it again because it's expensive, but I'm glad that I did it because I was able to really learn a lot about myself. I was able to kind of look at things differently. I was able to be even more sure and firm in my faith and why I believe what I believe. And, now I'm able to help people in a different way. So in my styling, it's not just about styling because, sometimes people have other issues. I don't use my degree in that way, but I use the skill set that I have. So I'm able to build rapport with people and, know how to connect with people on a different level, more than just what I did before I went to school. So the Bible is true. It says that all things work for those who are called according to his purpose and who love him. So it's true. We don't know how it's going to work out. It just does, he's looking out for us. We make these crazy life decisions, right? I don't know if I was supposed to go to school or not. Okay. But okay. So that is the thing, when you are on the path, when you are faithful to him, he's going to be faithful to you. And he has kept us, as we've had these very creative lives. Okay. Cause there's not really security in this type of work. as we see from the pandemic, everything came to a screeching halt. But it really gave me the freedom and flexibility to work on, Jolie Noire and, things like that. So I'm appreciative regardless. And so that's how I came out with a different mindset. So it wasn't like necessarily a physical thing. It was more of a mental thing,
Let me tell you something. There are so many of us who are like, are y'all taking these back? Okay, these degrees. I'm like, I really don't need it. And but so many of us have had that experience as well, right? We're okay, you go, you do this, you do that. Even if this, you'll at least get the name. People will respect that. It'll open all these doors. And then some of us have those moments where it's just like, okay, well, I spent the 2+ years, or I did this accelerated program. I owe this or that. And it can be discouraging, right? But I'm thinking about the possible moments that you have, because I'm not sure, right? But when someone's second guessing themselves, when they look a certain way, right? The conversation you're able to have with them, the way you're able to encourage and minister, all of that is on purpose. And you have your purpose, right? So you're doing things intentionally. It's so beautiful. I know I have my master's as well. And I'm just like, okay, right. I was very intentional. The name rings bells for people. And I'm like, but does anybody want it back? Right. And that's a real thing. We invest. Sometimes we become uncertain. We question, but all of it, like you said, is working together for our good. I'm like, what haven't you ladies done? Like, what are you working on next? And clearly you've been getting your lives. You've been ministering to people, helping them get their lives. Like, we just all on tour, okay. Because I could talk to you ladies forever, but you are both businesswomen, right? Before you drop the mic, I really would love for you all to share. What is it? We've gotten so many words of encouragement. I guess you can let us know what you're up to next, honestly, what you're working on, and your plans for really coming out of this pandemic strong.
Yeah. So we are planning our Q3. Can you believe we're here now?
I cannot. I don't know why it's the end of May.
It's about to be Christmas.
I don't know why.
Okay?
Don't say that. Don't say, oh gosh.
So forward. So next month, actually, we're going to give you a little tidbit of ours. We have the short sets of our sweat sets that are coming. So the florals and the Unity collection, part of our Femme Noire collection, the Unity collection, or the unisex collection. Those are coming out in June. So early June. So yes, we're excited about them because people have asked for them. They were like, oh, can you guys please do shorts? Can you do the short sleeves? Can you do it? So we answered the call. Okay.
Yes.
We have more sets coming actually in July. July is our anniversary of our hard launch. And so we wanted to do something kind of special. So we do have that coming. It's still going to be part of our unisex. And then we also have really special things. I'm not going to say what they are just yet.
That's fine.
Not going to share them just yet.
I respect that.
Yes, thank you. But they are super cool things that we are hopefully going to be able to have completed by Black Friday, during that time.
Mm-hmm. So you really just trying to rush us to Christmas. Is that your favorite holiday?
It is, but at the same time, kind of have to think forward. When you have a business that you so fast, it's like, are we thinking about this right now? Like, really? No, you have to think about the next Christmas before the Christmas that you actually get.
Yeah, forecasting is a real thing.
It just prepares you. Sign up for our newsletter. You'll be the first to know. But yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, and I'm working on my album Cornerstone. I just finished I think 2 weeks ago now, the last song. And I'm really excited about it. Got to find a single. We'll be sending everything, or rather everything is in the mixing process. We'll be going to mastering, and then it will go to the Spotify curators, and everything moves on from there.
That's incredible. If you ever need a backup dancer, a hype woman, I'm thinking about illustrating cover art. I cannot draw though, and I don't have any design skills, but you just let me know where you need me. You're like, wait, no, I don't need any of that. That's fine. Okay. So I'll just buy a ticket to the shows when the doors open, when outside opens. I think I can do that. That's my ministry. Just show up. I can do that. That is so exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Come on. You ladies are doing it. You really are. And I can't wait for everything to just unfold. I'm definitely tapped in. And I know those who are tuned in are probably like, oh, okay. They're ready to get these shorts, and so much more. Look, we have come to the point on the stop of the tour where it is time for you to officially drop the mic. I will bill and invoice you for all of the kinks in the microphone because y'all have been dropping it throughout this episode. But before I put that in the mail, go ahead and drop the mic for the last time. And when you are ready, the stage is yours.
Okay. Well, I just want to say to all business owners or those who are, wanting to go in that like whole entrepreneurial vein, to make sure that you stay accountable to the work. It can be so easy to become really, discouraged. You see other people online and, they post in all of their little cute bags and, oh, we got this many sales and we have this many, this and that. And they're posting all of their back office, stuff, which we don't do at all. But you don't have to prove yourself to anybody except for you. Yeah. And that is the thing that we are learning, to stay accountable to the work, to prove yourself to you and only you. And the competition is you versus you,
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would like to kind of reiterate a point that I made earlier about not being married to anything that you're doing. You want to appreciate what it is that you do. You want to love what it is that you do, because that's how you'll get people motivated to, want what you have, especially when they don't know you. But realizing and focusing on, like I said earlier, we listen to our customers. So, we have to, and of course, in listening to your customers, you still have to put some of, things that you have planned and, being very planful and things like that. But when you're planful, you don't get so married to it to where you can't let it go. Mm-hmm. You kind of want to date it a little bit, maybe. You want to be associates with some of your ideas. And be able to kind of know when to, set it free and let it go or make it come back. We had a style that we actually last year we were about to take off of the site. We put it on sale. We started getting sales. And so we, put it back off. We took it off sale. We were like, oh, this is actually something people want, So again, exhausting all of your options. Don't divorce before you look at all of your options. But yeah, don't get so married and so, in bed with it to where you can't make changes and pivot when you need to.
Hello, somebody. There you have it. Look, 2 mic drop moments in one, and both on point. I am so full from this conversation. I'm so glad and grateful to be connected with you ladies, like in this way, following your journeys online and just supporting, right? Engaging and being excited about the work that you're doing. Like, I am rooting for y'all. I'm like loud, shaking the stands, okay, in a little Kim squad, with my prayer cloth on, of course. But I'm there. I can only imagine how many takeaways people have been able to gather on this stop of the tour. So let people know how they can stay connected, how they can follow your journey, shop, and you know what I'm saying? Just be in alignment with the work that you all are doing.
Okay. Well, you can follow us on all of our social media. The apparel page is Jolie X Noire Apparel. Our blog page is Jolie X Noire, and then with Jolie Noire on Facebook. And then you can follow me on all of my social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Keyondra Lockett. And you can also go to my website, check out all updates about me, www.KeyondraLockett.com. You can also go and shop Jolie Noire. That's www.joliexnoire.com, JOLIEXNOIRE.com. And
yeah. And that's life on everything. So really simple.
Awesome. And as always, to be connected with the Get My Life Tour, visit the getmylifetour.com, at the Get My Life Tour on Facebook and Instagram, at Get My Life Tour, because it was too long, on Twitter. And to stay connected with my work journalistically or just my lifestyle content, be sure to follow me at Lydia T Blanco, or visit my website if there is any way that you want to partner and connect. This has been incredible. I am so glad that this has happened. I'm like, yes, okay. Look, I'm getting my life. I am so grateful for how you ladies have shown up. Okay. And I cannot wait to hear the impact that this conversation has on all of our communities.
Yeah.
Y'all are something special. Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You definitely are. Look, I really hope that everyone who has tuned in has gotten exactly what they needed, even if it wasn't what they anticipated. I have, okay? And until the next time here on the Get My Life Tour, it has been real. Peace.